Howdy folks, how you going? Rob here. Guys, welcome to Wanderer HQ. We are in the shed today. Folks, we are looking to do a rear seat delete. That's right, in the space cab of the Ford Ranger 2016 model, we're going to rip out the back seats and hopefully install this brand new kick-ass dual battery system. The install and review of this coming in the next series of videos, folks. First, we need to work out how we're going to get it in there. Now, the space cab, folks, is sort of half the space of a traditional dual cab ute in the cab section, if you know what I mean. So there is seats in the back behind the two passenger and driver's seat. They're not really usable though. There is seat belts, there is the whole kit and dice there, cushions and all that sort of thing, but not really usable, folks. It is quite a small space at the back of a space cab Ranger. So we're going to rip them out, and the idea is to install this guy where those seats were. Now there's a few questions I need to answer, and we're going to find out together in this video, folks. I don't actually know what's behind the back cushion of the space cab of the Ranger. So I've been looking all morning for my trim tool to get the trim off the back of the Ranger there and all the plastic parts. I can't find it anywhere. So we're going to do a quick run up to Super Cheap. We're going to grab a trim tool kit, give us all the bits we need to get the trimming off to get to the back and the back panel of the cab of the dual cab Ranger. Now, I'm also going to bring you along for a quick drive, and we'll see the noise difference, because a lot of people talk about putting in some sound deadening or foam or something like that. So what we're going to do, on the way to Super Cheap, I'll bring you along with me, and we're going to see how loud it is as we're driving down the road, up on the highway and down some normal streets in town here. And we'll see how loud it is. Hopefully we'll come back with the trim tool, be able to rip it all out, and then what we'll do is we'll go for another drive and see how loud it is without any sound deadening. Now, the big thing with this one, folks, is cabling for the 12-volt system. I am hoping and praying that there is some sort of plastic paneling, a grommet of some sort that we can fit a whole stack of cabling for our 12-volt system to fit through. What's going to happen? We don't know. I don't know. You're going to find out the same time I find out. So let's go check it out. I'll show you where we're talking about. For those of you who are thinking about doing this yourself, come and have a look. This is the space cab here. 2016 space cab Ford Ranger. Here it is here. As you hear some people getting excited on their horns in the background. That's where we're going to fill, folks. So that's what we're going to try and do here. So I need to get the trim removal tool to get rid of this top panel section here. And then this here, hopefully, will be able to be unlocked and taken off once we get this off and get some hands down the back there to get it off. What's behind that in terms of the back panel, any sort of ways to get cabling through and out of the cab? I have no idea, and it has been incredibly hard to find the answers on that. So we're going to find out together, folks. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump in, we'll go for a cruise up to Super Cheap Auto and get the trim tools, crack it open, see what's behind there, and see if we can get a start on this 12-volt battery install. But this one, folks, is all about what's behind here and how to do a rear seat delete in the Ford Ranger. Let's learn together. All right, here we go. Alrighty, folks, I've got the mic turned off and just using the internal microphone and just merging onto the highway here. Hopefully we get an idea of how loud the cab is. So the rear seat is still in, the back paneling, and this is how loud it is. Sitting right on 100 now. So pretty quiet, very acceptable, of course, because it's all still as factory, but we'll see when we take it all out. So that's how loud it is on the highway. What about local town driving? Let's check it out. So obviously still pretty quiet, as you'd expect, still being factory. Alrighty, well we're back here at Wanderer HQ and we're going to give it a go. We've got the trim remover set. This was $50 from Super Cheap Auto, a Toledo one, but 5 pieces, all the different sizes and things there. So hopefully that's going to help us out in getting this off. Now what we're going to try and do here is I'm going to attack it from the bottom and try and lift it up and off, and hopefully, fingers crossed, folks, that we can get in behind this cushion seat to get that off. Fingers crossed after that when that comes off, there's a nice little grommet or something there that we can get all our cabling through for the 12-volt install. But first and foremost, we've got to get this off, see what's behind there. All right, let's get to it. Now folks, if I said I wasn't nervous, I'd be lying to you. It's always nerve-wracking when you start to pull apart your car. But anyway, let's give it a go, see what happens. We'll start at this end. No matter how hard I tried, this little tiny tool was not doing the job. I might try one of the other tools. Maybe a bigger one. There we go. Yeah, here we go, folks. Now we're getting somewhere. Not sure why I can't get behind it. Hey, there we go. Nothing like that reassuring crash sound. It is loose. I just need to work out how to get it off the ends. There we go, just like that. Key is not to break the hooks, right? The little clips. There you go, folks. That's the inside of that section. There you have it. So she's off. And now you can see here some big screws here, some big bolts holding in this cushion. So this is never going to come off, folks, until you get this off, because that is actually bolted in. And it looks like I need some hex screws. You know what I don't have? hex screws or hex nuts. Looks like our second trip to Super Cheap Auto coming right up. I looked at them on the shelf. They were right next to these things. And I went, nah, we'll just wait and see. Knowing full well that I'd probably get stitched up, and I have. So we'll go down, we'll get another kit, and we'll come back and hopefully removing that. I reckon removing these two bolts, that sort of slides out. We'll be able to lift this up and pull it out, and we'll see what's behind here. But this looks promising, folks. We've got a little gap here, some little holes. So I'm feeling good about this. What that's showing me as well is it looks like there might be plenty of spots for me to mount the bit of timber we're going to put in for the dual battery system. But as for the rear seat delete, I'd say we're off to a pretty good start. All right, back to Super Cheap. Trip number 2, and we'll get some screws to get them out. Goodness me, I looked straight at them and I didn't even buy them. All right, here we go, let's go. Alrighty folks, we're back from our second trip to Super Cheap. This is the Tool Pro 18-piece Torx and metric hex key set. So fingers crossed this is going to fit these ones in here and help get these, what they are, the baby car restraint receipt things, the main hooks for them. But it also goes down into the top of the chair, so the top of the back support here. So it is all one piece. So I am hoping that once we undo that, it loosens this off enough, and obviously that one, it loosens it off enough that we can lift this thing out. We can see what's behind there. So let's crack it open. This is a good little kit, this, hex and Torx in one, and a nice little case as well. So hopefully you don't lose them all, but we know we always do, right? Now I'm just going to look and start at the largest size here and see how we go. We'll see how tight they are in there. I did buy the mounts for the for the drill as well. Hopefully we don't need them. Hopefully I can crack it with this. Let's see if this one fits. And of course it's the biggest one. So let's see how we go. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Oh, this might be a bit of a mission. Ah, no, there we go. That's that one, cracked. All right, it is a bit dark in here, folks, but hopefully you can see that. So you can see that is now loosened off. That's the actual baby seat restraint mounting point. That's the bolt that we're undoing with the Torx head on it. And you can see that goes down into there. Now, and as I'm loosening that, you can see the chair, or the back seat cushion is actually loosening off. So now we'll do the same on this one. Fingers crossed it comes off. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's definitely on there. But there you go, that's the hex screw there. That's now out. And that's the baby child restraint locking mechanism. It's now out as well. And that's the second one out. So now, with any luck, I should be able to lift this up and pop it out. So this is now behind there. So all this is foam, obviously to keep the noise out. And that is our back plate there. So our rear seat delete is nearly complete, and you can see a hook just down there. Hopefully you can see that just in here. And I'm going to lift that up. There's 3 of them, 1, 2, and 3. Lift that up, and this cushion should be off. All right, let's do that. Alrighty folks, now let's go to take this out. Now there's a bit of a clip system back there. It's sort of locked into itself, so you can't actually just pull it up normally if all of this was still in. We'll give this a go. I might try and do it one by one. 1, 2, and then the far side, around where you guys are. There we go, straight up. Move the seatbelts. And there you go. There you have it. Rear seat delete. Look at that. There's the clips there, obviously. We'll probably look to leave them in for our 12 volt install, but anyway, we'll do all that in the follow-up video, folks. But that is your rear seat delete. Now, you may have noticed that when we started this, I'd already taken the cushions out from down the bottom here. So what I'll do, I'll quickly pop them back in and I'll quickly show you how they came out. That was super easy. But there you go. There's the rear panel from that. So we'll quickly show you the seat and then we'll go for another drive, folks, because now all the insulation is gone and the cushion is now out. Let's see how loud it is in here. Am I going to need to buy some insulation or will it be okay? Let's find out. Okie doke, folks. Now this is actually really easy to do in the back of these Rangers. Ford have done a fantastic job at making this part really easy. Now they've got these 2 lugs here that go into these 2 slits here, right? And at the front here, you've got this little pulley system with a little latch in there. So you pull that, little latch opens, and then this guy here, this little tab, sits into there. So to put it back in is as easy as this. Slide those back in, you'll feel them lock in, just like that. So I can't pull that forward anymore. Grab your tab, pull that forward, push it down. That is in. Now, obviously we've already removed the back seat, but that does line up flush with the back cushion. So that's it, easy as that. Now to remove it, just reverse the process. Pull the tab, opens that up, that will pop up, push it back, and out it comes. Easy as that. All right, let's go for a bit of a drive. This is the rear of the rear seat, if that makes sense, the rear cushion. You can see all the moulding in here from when it was put in, the insulation, to match the back wall of the cab. You can even see a date, 2nd of the 4th, 2016. What do you reckon, 1:30 in the morning or 1:30 in the afternoon? I don't know. Either way, it's out. You can see the mounts down there. They were at the top, part of the baby restraint as well, but nice and easy to get out. A lot more simple than I thought it was going to be, actually. All right, let's see how loud it is in the cab. Alrighty, rear seat delete. How noisy is it? Now, I'm in a suburban street here, as you can tell. Speed limit about 50. Don't quite get to 50 before you hit the next speed bump, so it's a good indication as to how loud your engine is when you're sort of rearing up. What do you reckon, folks? So far, that is barely any different to how it was when the insulation in the rear seat was in. I mean, yeah, it is a little noisier, but barely. Like, not really noticeable at all. And just to prove to you, you can see the rear seat delete going on in the back there. But in suburban driving, barely a difference. Let's jump on the highway quickly and see how we go. Alrighty, here we go. Merging back on the highway, getting up to 100. I tell you what, I can hear a lot more noise. It's a bit weird though. It's like just very airy, of course, because obviously the insulation's gone, so it's a bit more of an airy feel. And something I find interesting, and maybe something to think about, which makes me consider I'm definitely going to put the insulation back in of some sort, is the air conditioning. Now the air conditioning is probably going to get affected by the amount of air getting in through the back there, which obviously will change the temperature of the internal of the cabin. So the aircon's probably going to have to work a bit harder. And the other thing I find is if I creep across and I hit one of the reflectors, obviously with that insulation gone, you might not be able to hear it in the camera, but I can hear the mechanics of everything in the rear working, which is an odd sound. It's very odd to hear that. There you go. I'll shut up for a second. You can hear what it's like at 100. There you go. Backing off now because we're getting a bit close to the old B double here. But overall, folks, pretty happy with that, and I'll definitely be putting some insulation in. I think that's a definite. But not too bad, not too bad. If you're looking to do a rear seat delete and not worry about the insulation, I reckon you can get away with it. There you go, very good. Well folks, there you have it. The rear seat delete is now complete in the Space Cab Ranger here. Not a very difficult job at all. All you need, trim removal tool, a decent sized one, and a Torx bit. So this is a T50, that's the size of the bolt that we took out that was holding in both the baby seat securing latch as well as the top of the rear of that paneling there that we took out for the cushion. I'm actually going to utilize this, I think, in the setup of the 12 volt system that this whole process is for. And I may even touch the back board of the 12 volt that we're going to use to mount everything up to that same part, so that same spot. But we'll see how we go. You'll have to follow along on the 12 volt install build series coming, which is the whole reason for this seat delete. So make sure you subscribe, folks, and see how that goes. Now, seat belts. I just want to touch on that. Now, depending on where you live, state to state, country to country even, the rules vary on this, folks. So if it's a temporary delete, most places allow you to keep the seat belts in. These guys here. Now, if it's a permanent delete or a permanent 12 volt install or whatever it is you're doing in the back of your cab, you need to remove the seat belts and go re-register your vehicle minus the amount of seats you've taken out. Now, I'm not 100% committed on whether this is going to be permanent or temporary. It's probably leaning more towards permanent, but for the moment I'm going to leave them in because I haven't done any more of the build here. So essentially I haven't broken any regulations as such yet. So once I start the build and we start feeding cables through here and all that sort of stuff, I am going to have to go to the registry, the Queensland Transport, and look to have it probably change the registration of the vehicle to just a two-seater with the 2 seats in the front. We'll see how we go on that. Again, I'm not exactly sure which way I'm going to go there, whether to make it temporary or permanent. So make sure you subscribe and follow along, and we'll see where we end up on that one. So folks, I hope this helped you out. If you're looking to do a rear seat delete in a Ford Ranger, a Space Cab, there wasn't many clips out there showing exactly how to pull it fully apart and what's behind the rear seat of the cab here. So I hope this helped you out. If it did, give it a like, and make sure to subscribe. We've got the 12 volt install coming our way now. Now that that's been deleted, we're going to rip up the floor a little bit, look for attachments to mount all the paneling and everything too, and we'll see how it goes. The kick-ass 230 amp hour lithium battery install. We've got the battery, we've got inverters, we've got DC to DCs and MPPTs, as well as the 240 volt chargers and Starlink to put in and all that sort of stuff. So make sure you subscribe, folks, and we'll see how the build goes. We've got a little grommet. That was the aim of the clip as well, remember? To find a little hole that we can run all the cabling through. There is one down here. Is it going to be big enough? I'm not quite sure. Anyway, we'll have to see how we go when the install begins, which is going to be pretty much right now. So folks, make sure you subscribe, check out the videos coming up on that, as well as all the other stuff on the channel. Plenty of stuff there to keep you amused for quite a while, and we'll see you all on the next one. Cheers, folks. Hope this helped you out. Cheers. You.